17 former NBA players who passed away in 2025. Basketball fans love highlights, banners, and rings, but 2025 forced us to confront a harder truth. This year we lost former NBA players who helped build the league long before today's spotlight, social media, and billion-dollar contracts. Some were champions, some were role players. Others were forgotten far too quickly. But every one of them carried the weight of black excellence on and off the court. Their stories didn't end at retirement, and neither should our respect. Stay with us until the end, because these aren't just names. This is legacy. Subscribe, comment, and ask yourself who really gets remembered in NBA history. Gus Williams. Gus Williams was never supposed to redefine an era, yet he did exactly that. Born in Mount Vernon, New York, Williams entered the NBA as the 20th overall pick in 1975, overlooked by many executives who doubted whether his speed-first style could survive structured systems. What followed proved them wrong. Standing 6'2", Williams brought relentless pace, sharp instincts, and fearless shot-making to the backcourt, qualities that soon turned him into the heartbeat of the Seattle Supersonics. By the late 1970s, Williams had become one of the league's most dangerous guards. During the 1978-79 season, he elevated his game when it mattered most, averaging nearly 27 points per game in the NBA Finals and scoring 29 in the decisive Game 6. That performance delivered Seattle its only championship and permanently etched his name into franchise history. In 1982, he earned first-team All-NBA honors, confirming that his brilliance was no fluke, but sustained excellence. Midway through his prime, Williams shocked the league by sitting out the entire 1981 season due to a contract dispute. The Sonics fell from 56 wins to 34 without him, a stark reminder of his value. When he returned, Seattle immediately rebounded, validating his stance. Ask yourself this: how many players truly force an organization to feel their absence that deeply? Off the court, Williams faced serious health challenges later in life, including a major stroke in 2020. Yet his legacy remains defined by resilience, courage, and uncompromising self-belief. He wasn't fast, he was ahead of his time. John Shumate. John Shumate built a career defined less by hype and more by perseverance. Born in South Carolina and raised in New Jersey, Shumate didn't grow up surrounded by elite basketball infrastructure. He was already 6'5" as a teenager, yet organized competition came late, forcing him to rely on raw effort and faith rather than polish. When he arrived at Notre Dame, he wasn't considered a can't-miss star. He was a project with potential and unanswered questions. Those questions multiplied when Shumate suffered a serious viral infection near his heart early in college, a condition that threatened both his career and his life. After months of recovery, he returned stronger, averaging 21 points and 12 rebounds as a junior, then improving to 24 points and 11 rebounds the following season. His defining collegiate moment came when Notre Dame helped end UCLA's historic 88-game winning streak, a result that immediately changed how scouts viewed him. Selected 4th overall in the 1974 NBA draft, Shumate entered the league with expectations, but faced new obstacles. Over 7 NBA seasons with 5 teams, he averaged 12.3 points and 7.2 rebounds, solid production during an era dominated by physical front-court play. Blood clots forced him to miss the entire 1979 season, yet he refused to walk away quietly. After retiring, Shumate transitioned into coaching, working at the college level, and later serving as an NBA and WNBA assistant. His post-playing career reflected the same mindset as his time on the court: adapt, teach, and endure. John Shumate's story isn't about superstardom, it's about survival, growth, and earning respect the hard way. Junior Bridgeman. Junior Bridgeman represents a rare kind of legacy, one where impact grows larger after the final buzzer sounds. Born in East Chicago, Indiana, Bridgman entered the NBA in 1975 as the 8th overall pick, joining a Milwaukee Bucks team built around discipline rather than glamour. On the court, he was a reliable small forward who understood roles, spacing, and timing. Over 12 NBA seasons, including 10 with Milwaukee, he averaged 13.6 points per game, reaching double figures in scoring 9 times, despite never starting full-time or making an all-star team. What truly separates Bridgman, however, is what he did with opportunity rather than applause. During an era when NBA salaries were modest, his highest annual paycheck barely exceeded $350,000, yet he quietly prepared for life beyond basketball. While many peers spent off-season money freely, Bridgman studied business fundamentals, even working behind the counter at Wendy's to understand operations from the ground up. How many players today would be willing to learn by starting at the bottom? By the time he retired, Bridgman already owned several franchises. Over the following decades, he expanded aggressively, eventually operating more than 450 restaurants, becoming a Coca-Cola bottler, and acquiring a minority ownership stake in the Milwaukee Bucks. Verified reports placed his net worth at over $1 billion, making him one of the most financially successful former athletes in history. Bridgman passed away in 2025 at age 71 after suffering a heart attack, leaving behind more than career statistics. His life stands as proof that intelligence, patience, and long-term vision can redefine success. Junior Bridgman didn't chase fame, he built permanence. Oliver Miller. Oliver Miller was a walking contradiction, oversized yet agile, unassuming yet unforgettable. Born in Fort Worth, Texas, Miller carved his reputation at the University of Arkansas, where his soft hands and passing instincts helped power the Razorbacks to the Final Four. That skill set followed him into the NBA when he was drafted in 1992, landing on a Phoenix Suns roster built for a finals run. At 6'9", Miller possessed a feel for the game that statistics rarely captured. As a rookie, he played meaningful minutes during Phoenix's 1993 playoff surge, including the Western Conference Finals, and helped upset the Lakers in a dramatic first-round comeback. In his prime seasons, most notably with Toronto, he averaged around 13 points and 7 rebounds, numbers that reflected reliability more than flash. Yet what coaches valued most was his court vision. Miller could facilitate from the post like a guard, a rare trait for his era. Weight struggles often overshadowed his contributions. At times, reportedly approaching 380 pounds, Miller faced criticism that ignored the context of a league still learning how to support player health. Despite the noise, he persisted, spending 9 NBA seasons and extending his career across international leagues. After basketball, Miller lived quietly, eventually working as a car salesman in Arizona. In 2025, he passed away at just 54 years old following a battle with cancer. His story reminds us that basketball impact isn't always loud. Sometimes it's measured in intelligence, toughness, and moments that only true fans remember. Slick Watts. Slick Watts never followed the traditional path to NBA recognition, and that unpredictability became his greatest strength. Born Donald Earl Watts in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, he endured a childhood football injury that permanently damaged his scalp, leading him to shave his head long before it became iconic. Instead of hiding it, Watts embraced the look, pairing it with a tilted headband that soon made him one of the most recognizable figures of the 1970s NBA. Undrafted in 1973, Watts refused to accept obscurity. After starring at Xavier University of Louisiana, he earned a tryout with the Seattle Supersonics thanks to a personal connection between his college coach and Bill Russell. That single opportunity changed everything. Watts didn't just make the roster, he exploded. In the 1975-76 season, he became the first player in NBA history to lead the league in both assists and steals, averaging 8.1 assists and 3.2 steals per game while earning first-team all-defense honors. Despite standing just 6'1", Watts played with relentless intensity, pressuring ball handlers full court and setting the emotional tone for his team. A severe knee injury cut his NBA career short at age 27, forcing an early retirement that many felt came far too soon. How different might league history look if his prime had lasted just a few more seasons? After basketball, Watts dedicated himself to education, working as a physical education teacher in the Seattle area. He later battled sarcoidosis and suffered a major stroke in 2021. Slick Watts passed away in 2025 at 73, remembered not just for statistics, but for redefining toughness, identity, and pride in the NBA. Dick Barnett. Dick Barnett stood at the crossroads of skill intelligence and quiet defiance. Born in Gary, Indiana, Barnett came of age in an era when opportunity for black athletes was limited and often conditional. Before the NBA, he starred at Tennessee State University, leading the Tigers to 3 consecutive NAIA national championships, 1957 to 1959, a historic achievement that forced professional scouts to take notice, even if reluctantly. Drafted 5th overall in 1959, Barnett built a 14-season NBA career, spending his most impactful years with the New York Knicks. Known for his high-arcing left-handed jumper released mid-air in a way few defenders could time, he averaged 15.8 points per game over his career. His finest moments came during the Knicks' golden era, where he played a key role in 2 NBA championships, 1970 and 1973, providing scoring spacing and composure during playoff pressure. Barnett was more than an athlete. While playing professionally, he pursued higher education, later earning a master's degree from NYU and a doctorate in education. After retirement, he taught at several universities, including St. John's, emphasizing the importance of life beyond basketball long before that message became mainstream. In recognition of both his on-court excellence and off-court impact, Barnett was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. He passed away in 2025 at 88 years old, leaving behind a legacy rooted in championships, scholarship, and dignity. Dick Barnett proved that greatness doesn't have to shout, it can teach, endure, and win quietly. David Greenwood. David Greenwood carried expectations that few players ever escape. Born in Riverside, California, Greenwood rose at UCLA as one of John Wooden's final elite recruits, anchoring teams with discipline and reliability rather than flash. That reputation propelled him to the number 2 overall pick in the 1979 NBA draft, selected immediately after Magic Johnson, an order that would follow him for the rest of his career, fairly or not. Greenwood entered the league with the Chicago Bulls and delivered immediate measurable production. As a rookie, he averaged 16.3 points and 9.4 rebounds, numbers that reflected toughness and consistency in a bruising era. Over 12 NBA seasons, Greenwood posted career averages of 10.2 points and 7.9 rebounds, spending 6 formative years in Chicago before later stints with San Antonio, Denver, and Detroit. He wasn't marketed as a star, but coaches trusted him to defend, rebound, and do the work that rarely leads SportsCenter. His career came full circle in Detroit, where Greenwood was part of the 1990 NBA championship team, contributing veteran stability to a roster defined by grit. When championships are won, how often do fans remember the players who accepted smaller roles so others could shine? Greenwood embraced that reality without complaint, understanding the value of sacrifice. After retiring, he invested in small businesses, including several blockbuster video stores, and later coached high school basketball, choosing mentorship over spotlight. Greenwood passed away in 2025 at 68 years old after battling cancer. His legacy isn't loud, but it's honest, built on responsibility, endurance, and respect earned the hard way. Ryan Reed. Ryan Reed represented a modern kind of NBA journey, short at the top level, yet rich in perseverance and global experience. Born in Fort Lauderdale Lakes, Florida, Reed emerged at Florida State as a high-energy forward known for defense, rebounding, and hustle rather than gaudy scoring totals. His effort paid off in 2010 when he was selected 57th overall in the NBA draft initially by Indiana before being moved to Oklahoma City. Reed's NBA time was brief but legitimate. He appeared in 5 regular season NBA games, a hard-earned achievement in a league where most draft picks never see the floor. Minutes were scarce, but opportunity didn't disappear. Reed adapted spending time in the G League before continuing his career internationally. He played professionally in Canada, France, Japan, and Puerto Rico, building a resume that reflected resilience more than recognition. For many players, the NBA is the destination. For Reed, it was the doorway. Away from the spotlight, Reed lived the reality many professionals face after basketball: constant movement, physical wear, and financial uncertainty. His story challenges the myth that success only counts if it lasts a decade in one uniform. In 2025, Reed's life was cut short at just 38 years old following a medical emergency, later confirmed as a heart attack. His passing served as a sobering reminder that even elite athletes are not immune to fragile health. Ryan Reed may never headline highlight reels, but his career stands as proof that reaching the NBA, no matter how briefly, is a triumph earned through sacrifice, persistence, and belief. Bill Chamberlain. Bill Chamberlain lived one of the most misunderstood careers of his generation, defined not by lack of talent, but by timing, misfortune, and physical adversity. Born William Martin Chamberlain in New York, he rose to prominence on legendary playgrounds like Rucker Park, where his size, touch, and instincts made him a local force. At the University of North Carolina, he reached his peak, earning NIT MVP honors in 1971 and helping lead the Tar Heels to the 1972 Final Four, establishing himself as a legitimate professional prospect. Drafted by both the NBA and ABA, Chamberlain chose the ABA, a decision that would dramatically alter his path. Early in his rookie season with the Kentucky Colonels, a freak accident changed everything. Chasing a loose ball out of bounds, he slipped on the edge of an arena's hockey rink and suffered 2 ruptured spinal discs. The injury required extended hospitalization and permanently limited his mobility. How many promising careers have been rewritten by a single uncontrollable moment? Chamberlain eventually reached the NBA, appearing in 28 games with the Phoenix Suns, but he was never physically the same. The explosiveness that once defined him was gone, forcing him to adapt to a reduced role in a league growing faster and more athletic. Unlike many peers, he didn't disappear. After leaving professional basketball, he transitioned into coaching and later worked in health and safety, dedicating his post-playing life to protecting others from harm, an irony not lost on those who knew his story. Bill Chamberlain passed away in 2025 at 75 years old. His legacy is not about what might have been, but about resilience, dignity, and continuing forward when circumstances refuse to cooperate. Larry Jones. Larry Jones built his reputation the hard way by scoring relentlessly when few believed he belonged at the top level. Born in Toledo, Ohio, Jones didn't follow the traditional pipeline to stardom. He began playing organized basketball seriously only late in high school and stood just 6'2" undersized for a forward in the 1960s. Major college programs overlooked him, but Toledo gave him a chance, and Jones turned that opportunity into production scouts could no longer ignore. Drafted into the NBA in the early 1960s, Jones initially struggled to secure a long-term role, averaging under 6 points per game, and being released after a brief stint. Instead of fading away, he reinvented himself in the American Basketball Association. There, Jones became a scoring phenomenon. He was the first player in ABA history to reach 5,000 career points, and once scored 30 or more points in 23 consecutive games, a record that highlighted his offensive fearlessness. He earned 3 ABA All-Star selections, proving his earlier NBA exit said more about circumstance than ability. Jones later returned to the NBA during the 1973-74 season, averaging 10 points per game, before finishing his playing career overseas in Europe. His journey remains one of the clearest examples of resilience in professional basketball. After retirement, Jones transitioned into coaching across multiple leagues and worked as a state corrections officer in Ohio, choosing service and stability over spotlight. Inducted into the Ohio Basketball Hall of Fame in 2011, Larry Jones passed away in 2025 at 83 years old. His legacy stands as proof that scoring titles fade, but perseverance never does. Kim Hughes. Kim Hughes carved out a career defined by adaptability, professionalism, and quiet endurance. Born and raised in Illinois, Hughes developed his game at the University of Wisconsin, where he became known for positional awareness and team-first habits rather than headline numbers. Selected 45th overall in the 1974 NBA draft, he entered a competitive era where roster spots were scarce, and expectations for big men were unforgiving. Hughes began his professional journey overseas, sharpening his craft in Italy before returning stateside. He later spent time in the ABA, earning a championship with the New York Nets alongside Julius Erving, an experience that exposed him to high-pressure basketball without guaranteeing long-term security. In the NBA, Hughes played 5 seasons primarily as a reserve center, contributing reliable minutes through defense, screening, and rebounding tasks that rarely draw praise but often determine outcomes. His playing career extended internationally until 1989, reflecting a willingness to adapt and keep working when opportunities shifted. After retirement, Hughes transitioned seamlessly into coaching, serving as an assistant with several NBA teams, including Denver, Milwaukee, the Clippers, and Portland. His most defining off-court moment came in 2004, when he was diagnosed with prostate cancer while on the Clippers staff. When ownership declined to cover the surgery, teammates stepped in to raise approximately $70,000 to save his life. How often do we witness solidarity like that, when it matters most? Hughes returned to work after surgery, embodying resilience beyond the hardwood. He passed away in 2025 at 73, remembered for longevity, integrity, and the respect he earned without ever chasing the spotlight. Lawrence Moten. Lawrence Moten carried the weight of expectation long before he reached the NBA. A Washington, D.C. native, Moten became a legend at Syracuse University between 1991 and 1995, graduating as the Big East's all-time leading scorer at the time, and reaching double figures in 118 of 121 collegiate games. Nicknamed Poetry, his smooth shooting and fearless scoring turned the Carrier Dome into a stage where composure met creativity. Selected 36th overall in the 1995 NBA draft, Moten entered the league during an unforgiving expansion era. He spent 2 seasons with the Vancouver Grizzlies and later appeared briefly with the Washington Bullets, posting career NBA averages of 6.3 points per game. The numbers never captured the adjustment required. New systems, limited minutes, constant relocation realities, many talented guards faced as the league evolved. How many gifted scorers are remembered only by stats, not by the circumstances they navigated? Rather than chase illusion, Moten embraced purpose. He continued playing professionally across multiple leagues, then shifted toward coaching and youth development. Back in central New York, he dedicated himself to mentoring middle school students, translating lessons from the court into guidance for life. In 2018, Syracuse honored his impact by retiring his number 21 jersey, a recognition rooted in sustained excellence and loyalty. Moten passed away in 2025 at age 53, far too soon. His legacy endures not as a footnote of an expansion franchise, but as a scorer who mastered his craft, a mentor who chose service, and a reminder that influence often grows strongest after the final whistle. Lenny Wilkens. Lenny Wilkens embodied basketball intelligence across every layer of the game. Born in Brooklyn in 1937, Wilkens rose from playground courts to Providence College, where his command of tempo and decision-making signaled a future far bigger than individual scoring. Drafted 6th overall in 1960, he entered the NBA as a guard whose value lay in orchestration, seeing plays before they unfolded and elevating teammates through precision. As a player, Wilkins earned 9 All-Star selections and finished second in MVP voting in 1968, trailing only Wilt Chamberlain. He averaged 16.5 points and 6.7 assists over his playing career, often serving as a player coach, a role demanding uncommon trust and leadership. His playing stops included St. Louis, Seattle, Cleveland, and Portland, with consistency defining every chapter rather than headline theatrics. Wilkins's greatest imprint came on the sideline. Over 5 decades of coaching, he guided teams in Seattle, Cleveland, Atlanta, Toronto, and New York, adapting to eras that transformed rules, pace, and culture. He led the 1979 Seattle Supersonics to their only NBA championship, blending discipline with empathy. In 1995, he surpassed Red Auerbach to become the NBA's all-time wins leader, a record built on longevity, trust, and preparation, not shortcuts. Honored as a 3-time Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame inductee, player coach, and Dream Team assistant, Wilkins passed away in 2025 at age 88. His legacy isn't a single moment. It's a lifetime standard, proof that mastery of basketball begins with respect for the game and the people within it. Michael Ray Richardson. Michael Ray Richardson was a rare blend of artistry and edge, a guard whose talent felt limitless even by NBA standards. Born in Texas and polished through college ball in Montana, Richardson entered the league as the 4th overall pick in the 1978 NBA draft, immediately drawing comparisons to established stars. With the New York Knicks, his impact was instant. By his second season, he led the entire league in both assists and steals, a feat that revealed his complete command of tempo, anticipation, and defensive aggression. Nicknamed Sugar Ray Richardson, played with flair, acrobatic finishes, daring passes, and relentless pressure at the point of attack. From 1980 to 1982, he earned 3 consecutive All-Star selections and captured 3 steals titles, cementing his reputation as one of the most dynamic guards of his generation. Few players combined creativity and disruption so naturally. Yet brilliance came with turbulence. Off-court struggles and repeated substance abuse violations began to overshadow production, eventually derailing his prime years. Traded and later reinstated, Richardson briefly reclaimed elite form with New Jersey, averaging 20 points and 8 assists during the 1984-85 season, and leading a stunning playoff upset of the defending champion 76ers. When a player proves he still has it, how long should redemption remain possible? That question followed him when a final failed test led to a lifetime ban, later reduced, ending his NBA career prematurely. Richardson reinvented himself overseas, playing professionally into his mid-40s and later coaching internationally. He passed away in 2025 at age 70 after a battle with prostate cancer. His story remains a cautionary tale and a testament few guards ever matched his peak, and fewer still showed such resilience beyond the NBA's borders. Rodney Rogers. Rodney Rogers was the definition of controlled power, a forward whose game thrived on versatility rather than volume. Born in Durham, North Carolina, Rogers sharpened his edge at Wake Forest, where strength, touch, and awareness made him one of the most complete collegiate forwards of his era. Selected 9th overall in the 1993 NBA draft, he entered the league with expectations of instant impact and delivered in ways that didn't always scream for attention. At 6'7" and roughly 240 pounds, Rogers blended physicality with surprising finesse. Over 12 NBA seasons, he played for 7 different teams, averaging 10.8 points and 4.7 rebounds in a career defined by adaptability. His best years came as a high-level role player, particularly during playoff runs. With New Jersey, he was part of the 2002-03 Nets team that reached the NBA Finals, providing scoring punch and matchup flexibility off the bench when rotations tightened. Rogers was rarely the headline, but coaches valued him because he could do a bit of everything: post up smaller defenders, stretch the floor, or guard multiple positions. His reliability made him one of the most respected sixth-man types of his generation. Just 3 years after retirement tragedy struck. In 2008, Rogers suffered a devastating dirt bike accident that severely damaged his spinal cord, leaving him paralyzed from the shoulders down at age 37. For 17 years, he faced life with resilience, founding a charity to inspire perseverance and personal growth. Rodney Rogers passed away in 2025 at age 54. His legacy isn't just about basketball, it's about strength, redefined when the game ends and life demands more. Eldon Campbell. Eldon Campbell was the kind of NBA big man whose value revealed itself over time. Born in Los Angeles, Campbell refined his fundamentals at Clemson University, where patience, positioning, and composure shaped his identity. Drafted 27th overall in 1990, he entered the league without fanfare, yet quickly earned trust through consistency rather than spectacle. Standing 6'11", Campbell built a 15-season NBA career, an achievement rooted in durability and professionalism. He began with the Lakers, reaching the 1991 NBA Finals as a rookie, and later became a steady interior presence during the early Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant years. Over his career, Campbell averaged 10.3 points and 6.0 rebounds per game, numbers that reflected reliability across multiple roles: starter, rotational big, and veteran anchor. He never demanded touches, but he rarely made mistakes. Campbell's journey took him through Charlotte, Seattle, New Jersey, and Detroit, where experience outweighed athleticism. His most meaningful late career moment came in 2004, when he won an NBA championship with the Detroit Pistons, backing up Ben Wallace on one of the most defense-oriented title teams in modern history. How often do championships depend on veterans willing to accept smaller roles without losing pride? Campbell embodied that balance. After retiring in 2005, he chose privacy over publicity, stepping away from the spotlight that so many chase. In 2025, Campbell tragically passed away at 57 years old in a fishing accident in Florida, ruled accidental. His legacy lives quietly, defined by longevity, adaptability, and respect earned across locker rooms rather than headlines. In remembering these former NBA players, one truth stands out. Black excellence in basketball has never been one-dimensional. Some became champions, others role players, some global pioneers, and a few were gone before their stories felt complete. Yet every name we honored shared sacrifice, resilience, and a willingness to carry more than just a jersey. Their legacies raise an uncomfortable question. We rarely ask, do we value players only when they're superstars, or do we honor the full journey, including struggle, decline, and life after the game? At Legends of Black Excellence, we believe true greatness deserves remembrance, debate, and honesty.